Now we know who the Yatagashiru really was. And yet, there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons cross country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Sort of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggled them in, huh? We need to open a new line of investigation on this aspect alone. Before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir. Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KT8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. Let us know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir! Man, it's Manny Coachen. And he's holding a knife in his hand. This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KT8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. This footage shot the entrance to the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes, somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amano. See how this would have been a definitive piece and why someone would want to hide it. Evidence of a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir. Actually, it even has anything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. Well, where? Wait! What was that? Huh? That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again. This car. This is something we cannot overlook. What is that, sir? Look here, Detective Gumshoe. Take that! This is the national flag of the Principality of Godopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government card. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was the government card doing there? Mr. Von Carlman, Mr. Edgeworth, shall we were here all this time? Ambassador Alba? Thank you very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night. If only others did not tell you, but more careful. This tragedy would never happen. I am truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were. It conscious, you couldn't say something as simple as thief. Now then, let's get down to the real reason I came to looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Excuse me? I heard you not behind the thief that turned this embassy upside down. And we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's Korean. You can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaling the visitors away. So I hope that you can understand how I feel. But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. I don't believe the rest of the Albacinian and brought to these police. Ambassador, we're so close. Just a little more and... Miss Von Caliber, I'm afraid I made up my mind. And without my permission, I cannot proceed with your investigation anyway. That's true. However, as I said at the very beginning, this area could be considered to be Albanesian soil. In this case, we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends? Hold it. Sifu! We found Mr. Edwards' wolf, sir! Sifu, this way! Yo! Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly. If I lay back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. Agent Lang, why have you returned? Because I have to solve this case no matter what. Well, I'm sorry to inform you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was found to be a thief and soul. Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things in here. They are quite capable. I guess our investigation really will come to a close.
Not so bad!
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do. I'm really glad you understand how I feel. No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder. You? No? The... killer? Do you really mean that, Agent Lang? Wolves don't lie. Then who is it? Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Coachen's murder. That was Oshina. Lang Zi says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was the Masked 2's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Franziska von Kalmer. I was the killer? Hey, wait! But that's impossible! Yeah! Although, that whip is actually quite... Hold your tongue at that ludicrous remark you were about to make! Agent Flay, are you seriously accusing Cora of murder? Yeah, I am. You just appear to be joking. Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alaba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything? I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Albest and Balna, did you not?
Objection!
And where is your evidence that I am the killer?
Not so fast!
I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me this permission? With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Good. Then let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. rather upset. Not that I blame her. I expected that you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that.
Hold it!
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part, and so that I may clean up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery. Oh, in that case, I want to join in too! I still haven't seen what it looks like in Epiosde yet. If you let Kay in, then you gotta let me in too, pal! I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble. Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay? Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm fired up and raring to go. Detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over. Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alva, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride. Very well. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go. Okay, now let's just go over the facts one more time. Manny Coachen's body was found over in the secretary's office in Bada. The weapon that took his life was one of Alverson's ornamental knives. And then the body of the mask too, Mr. Kashanor, was found here in the Alvestinian ambassador's office. Though our investigation, we found that the motor weapon was the primitive statue, and that this is actually Balder's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying? Of course I do, sis. And I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so while people were distracted by the Yatagashu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
If all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons? Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You have permission to investigate profanities at will. With that kind of freeway, and you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Hey now! Look, sis, I thought I already told you I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Shinnah certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. He is right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous suckers over with already. Francisca, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alvestinian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole and therefore solve it. What? Don't worry. I'm taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Of course, and I will. Let's now delve into the truth behind the murder of the mask, too. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of the mask 2 is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started. Yes, let's. One of Allison's knives was used in Balda to murder Mr. Coachen, and the murder weapon in the killing of the master number 2 is Balda's Primadex statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisco will remain a suspect. You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So, why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I walked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Z never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor. Who do you think you are speaking about Lang Z's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you need to see the truth. One of Albert's knives was used in Balda to murder Mr. Coachen, and the murder weapon in the killing of the master is Balda's Primadex statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. Objection! Agent Lang, those two arms are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? The master was killed with Balda's Primadex statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Albert's Primadex statue go? To Balda. Precisely. And if the two statues really were stretched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies. I guess so, but you know what? It doesn't matter, the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Albert and Balba is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Yes, there was definitely another person, one who paid a visit to both sides of the wall. Objection! Is that really so, Agent Lang? What a lousy attempt to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guards said along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily. Objection! I suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors. What other way? Another entity that made it across the border unharmed. I pointed out it would open up a whole new possibility. Though I hesitate to bring this out. As long as this entity exists, the possible world becomes a possibility. It looks like you got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can search you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route. This evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries. Take that! Agent Lang, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't stop claiming that Shina somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I wouldn't like to take back what you said either. I'll say it again, it's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. How can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well, you will have your explanation. It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is... Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the Prima statue replica. You can't be serious! The Yetigashu, or rather, Slasio Ryu dressed as Agent Shina, was inside Baba. She dressed as the Republica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air.
Not so fast!
Mr. Prosecutor, you left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air. How exactly did she do that? He's slowly baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, did he say this all in? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right? Just before the murder, Francisco's called here right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I'll need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy? Ola, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her, and for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I am the killer! Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too! I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about it from you. Francisca, I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements up until you came into this room. Alright. Let's try this your way for a change. If what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no. As you wish. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Albustinian embassy. I saw the Sir Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office. I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time spent in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred, is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Albustinian embassy. After I saw this dear samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Hold it!
At that time, the master whose body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct? That's right. When Ambassador Alba was here, one could hardly miss his rather large presence. No criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'll be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you, when I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill watering his plants. Well, I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around at that time here in my office. Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? Right, wife, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side, however the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Isn't that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. Fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and has grown them with the utmost care, if you know. Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children. The passing flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. Miss Von Karma, what did you just say? I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing isn't the way it is. I'd like for you to apprehend that statement to your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passing flowers in full bloom in the flower box.
Objection!
Francisca, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way. I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis. Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this? Yes, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir! All I've done is state what I saw. I have not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? At least it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There's something behind this discrepancy. My beloved flowers, I've grown them with your utmost care. Shall I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth? I understand. These flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Instead of being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. If they're to be grown well, I know they're supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already! I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. I highly doubt it would last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. We'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth of the pacifier reveals can be seen in this piece of evidence.
Take that!
Shina, who was supposedly in Baba the entire time, had these hair sticks on her. That look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are actually support sticks for the passion flowers. And so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Ah! Think about it. Logically, Lang. These sticks were Wizzy and Albast. But somehow they wound up in Shina's hands, who was in Balba the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue. Very well then. I want to hear it from you exactly how they wound up in Baba. How did these support sticks find their way to Baba and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. So that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. Just another stick, isn't it? And so it is. The shape of the support stick is what is important. But when they are used with something in this room, that's where it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support stick is...